Welcome to Money Mindsets, where smart thinking builds real wealth and better financial habits. Today, we're revealing the dark side of credit cards, how they can trap you in debt and silently drain your finances if you're not careful. Credit cards look harmless. They fit in your pocket, they shine under the light, and they promise you convenience, rewards, and freedom. They whisper things like, "You deserve it," and "Buy now, pay later." But behind that little piece of plastic hides one of the most profitable psychological systems ever created. It's a machine that turns your habits, emotions, and even your dreams into someone else's income stream. This video isn't about avoiding credit cards completely. It's about understanding how they really work, how they control, manipulate, and trap millions of people without them even realizing it. Because once you see the full picture, you'll understand why your balance never goes down even though you keep paying. You'll understand why your rewards don't make sense. And you'll finally understand why this whole system exists, not for your benefit, but for the banks. By the end of this story, you'll know exactly how to break free from the system. You'll know how to use credit smartly, safely, and strategically. So stick with me till the end, because what you're about to hear will change the way you think about money forever. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Freedom. When you first get approved for a credit card, it feels like the world opens up. You suddenly have power, access, and independence. No more waiting for payday. No more saying, "I can't afford that right now." And the banks know that feeling is addictive. They design everything around it. The sleek packaging, the welcome letter, the way your credit limit looks impressive, all of it is meant to make you feel successful. But it's not freedom. It's permission. Permission to borrow, permission to owe, permission to live slightly ahead of your means, until that moment turns into a bill. Credit cards sell a dream of flexibility, but what they really offer is controlled dependence. They make you feel like you're in charge, but every time you swipe, you're entering into an invisible contract where the terms favor them, not you. The ads show smiling couples on vacation, friends shopping together, people buying luxury items with ease. But that's not real freedom. It's a lifestyle built on future debt. And that illusion is powerful, because when you feel free, you spend more. When you feel in control, you borrow more. And the more you borrow, the deeper you go into the system that was built to profit off your desire to feel independent. The banks know most people won't pay off their balances. They rely on it. Your debt is their business model. And once you start carrying a balance, you enter the real game, the game of interest. Chapter 2. The Interest Trap. Let's imagine this. You owe $1,000 on your card. The statement says your minimum payment is just $25. Sounds reasonable, right? But what that statement doesn't say clearly is that if your interest rate is around 20%, it could take you more than 5 years to pay that off. And by then, you will have paid almost double the original amount. How? Because credit card interest compounds. That means you pay interest on interest over and over again. The debt grows quietly in the background while you believe you're managing it. Banks love people who pay the minimum. They call them revolvers. Those are their favorite customers, the ones who never default, but also never escape. That's where the billions come from. Not the people who pay in full, but the ones who pay just enough. The system is designed to look fair. It tells you your minimum payment is to help you stay current. But really, it keeps you trapped in a financial treadmill. Every month you pay, and yet every month the balance barely moves. It's like running in place, fast enough to feel productive, but never going anywhere. And when you finally realize how much you've paid in interest, it's already too late. The money's gone, and the only thing you bought was time. Chapter 3. The Psychology of Spending. Now, here's where it gets deeper. Credit cards don't just manipulate your money, they manipulate your brain. Have you ever noticed that it's easier to spend with a card than with cash? That's not your imagination. It's a documented psychological effect. When you pay with cash, you feel the transaction. Your brain registers the pain of parting with money. You physically hand it over, and it hurts a little. But when you use a credit card, that pain disappears. There's no emotional signal that says, "I'm losing something." It's just a swipe or a tap. That's what psychologists call payment decoupling. It separates the act of paying from the feeling of loss. The result? You spend more. Up to 80% more, according to studies. And because you don't feel it immediately, you underestimate how much you're spending. The convenience of credit is intentional. Every feature, contactless payment, save cards online, one-click checkout, is designed to make you act faster and think less. And once spending becomes effortless, debt becomes invisible. Until the bill arrives. Then the guilt kicks in, but by that point, you're already trapped. Chapter 4. The Reward Illusion. Cashback. Travel miles. Points. Discounts. These are the words that make credit cards sound irresistible. You're told that if you spend, you earn. That's the hook. The more you buy, the more you get. But here's the real math. If you get 1% cash back on $1,000, that's $10. But if you don't pay that $1,000 in full, and you carry it with a 20% interest rate, you'll pay $200 in interest over time. You earned 10 and lost 200. That's not a reward. That's bait. Even if you do pay off your balance every month, rewards still win for the banks. Because they make you spend more. The average person increases their spending by 30% when chasing rewards. They'll justify unnecessary purchases just to hit point milestones. The entire reward system is behavioral engineering. It turns you from a cautious spender into a loyal consumer. And while you're feeling clever for getting free perks, the banks are smiling. Because the rewards don't cost them much, they're funded by everyone else who pays interest and fees. So even if you think you're winning, you're still playing in a system designed to make you consume more. Chapter 5. The Minimum Payment Myth. The phrase, minimum payment due, is one of the most deceptive marketing tools in finance. It sounds manageable, doesn't it? Like a little bit of breathing room. You see it and think, as long as I pay this, I'm good. But the minimum payment is not your friend. It's a mathematical illusion that keeps you in debt for as long as possible. When you pay the minimum, most of that money goes to interest, not to reducing your balance. So while you're congratulating yourself for being responsible, your actual debt barely changes. And here's the cruel part. The banks know this. They rely on it. Your bill even shows a small section that says how long it will take to pay off the balance if you only make minimum payments. But that's not meant to help you. It's meant to scare you into paying just enough to stay active without ever fully closing your account. Because a customer who pays off their balance completely stops generating interest. And that's bad for business. They'd rather have millions of people paying small amounts forever than a few paying everything off at once. It's not convenience. It's control. Chapter 6. The Credit Score Manipulation. Your credit score, that 3-digit number that seems to define your financial life. We're told it measures responsibility, discipline, trustworthiness. But in reality, it measures how profitable you are to lenders. If you use credit often, borrow regularly, and never default, your score rises. If you avoid credit, pay cash, and never owe anything, your score drops. The logic is twisted. People who avoid debt are labeled unscorable. People who constantly owe but never collapse are called excellent. That's because the system rewards behavior that benefits banks. They want borrowers who stay active, not people who are financially independent. Your credit score doesn't tell you how secure you are. It tells banks how much money they can make off you safely. That's why they encourage you to keep using your card to build your score. It's not advice, it's conditioning. The truth is, you don't need a credit score to have financial stability. You need savings, discipline, and awareness. But none of that makes banks money. So the illusion continues. People chase higher scores while quietly sinking deeper into dependency. Chapter 7. The Hidden Cost of Convenience. Credit cards don't just take your money. They take your peace. Think about the mental load of living with debt. You check your statement every month and feel a wave of guilt or anxiety. You make a payment, but the number barely changes. That cycle affects your mind. It keeps you in a constant state of low-grade stress, always aware that you owe, always behind, always playing catch-up. And that stress bleeds into everything else. You worry more. You sleep less. You start making emotional financial decisions, buying small things for comfort, even though they make the problem worse. Debt isn't just numbers. It's emotional weight. And that's part of the trap. As long as you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, you don't think strategically. You react. And reaction is exactly what the system wants. Because the moment you start thinking calmly and clearly, you see through it. Chapter 8. Breaking Free, the Real Strategy. So, how do you break free from this cycle? How do you use credit cards without letting them use you? It starts with awareness. You can't fight what you don't understand. Once you see how the system works, you can use it strategically instead of emotionally. First, pay your full balance every month. Never carry interest. If you can't pay it off, don't buy it. That's the golden rule, because once you pay interest, you're no longer a customer, you're a product. Second, stop chasing rewards. Rewards are bait, small treats designed to keep you loyal. If you earn them while paying in full, great. But never spend more just to earn points. That's not strategy, that's psychological warfare disguised as marketing. Third, automate your payments. Don't give the system a chance to penalize you with late fees or damage your credit score. Automation is your shield. It makes discipline effortless. Fourth, treat your credit card like a debit card with benefits. Use it for convenience and security, not for lifestyle inflation. The key is to make it work for you, not the other way around. And finally, build real freedom. Freedom isn't having a high credit limit. It's having savings. It's knowing you could lose your job tomorrow and still sleep peacefully. It's the kind of peace no points or perks can buy. When you master your habits, the system loses its power. Because every swipe becomes a choice, not a trap. Every purchase becomes intentional, not emotional. That's when you stop being a player in the bank's game and start playing your own. Chapter 9, The New Mindset. Credit cards aren't evil. They're tools. But like any tool, if you don't understand it, it can hurt you. The problem isn't the plastic, it's the psychology. It's the way we've been taught to see spending as success and debt as normal. Real success isn't in the things you buy, it's in the freedom you build. And once you shift that mindset, every dollar you keep becomes a quiet act of rebellion. Every paid-off balance is a victory. Every conscious choice to delay gratification is power returning to you. That's the truth banks don't want you to know. They make money when you act emotionally. You make money when you act intentionally. So the next time you reach for that shiny card, pause. Ask yourself, am I buying this because I need it, or because it feels good? That single question can save you thousands, maybe even change your life. Because the real wealth isn't in how much you can spend. It's in how much control you have over your decisions.
Money mindsets change the way you think. Dream it, build it, standing on the brink. Money